On Friday, Trump announced his economic team. 13 members, all men. It includes several billionaire bankers, hedge fund operators, investment managers, and even a part-time professional poker player. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. The members are, let me share with you some of the people on Donald Trump's economic advisory team. John Paulson. He is the president and chief executive of the investment firm Paulson and Company. He made billions of dollars by betting on the housing market's collapse right before the financial crisis. And he's long been an advocate of relying on gold as a guide to monetary policy. So this is a guy, John Paulson, who made money from the bodies of dead people, dead families, dead college students, dead children. You know what I mean? People who had everything snatched away from them because of people like Paulson. So that's number one. Number two, Steven Mnuchin. He's the national finance chairman of the Trump campaign. He made a fortune at Goldman Sachs and later started something called Dune Capital Management, which bailed out a failed California-based housing lender. Renamed One West, the bank was criticized for its harsh foreclosure practices. Here's another one. Harsh foreclosure practices. This is the asshole's economic team. Here's another one. Stephen Roth, founder and chairman of Vornado Realty Trust, the largest owner of commercial real estate in New York City. Stephen and Donald have frequently competed for properties, and they've teamed up in deals. Next, Harold Hamm, an Oklahoma oil millionaire or billionaire. Hamm is the chief executive and founder of Continental Resources, which owns stakes in the Bakken Formation, the shale-rich Bakken Formation. Last year, he sold Highland Partners, an oil pipeline and gathering company, for $3 billion. He was Romney's energy advisor during Romney's failed campaign. The next one is Howard Lorber, the chief executive of Vector Group, a holding company for tobacco and real estate interests. Next, Andrew Beal, a self-taught math whiz. He's the founder and president of Beal Bank and plays professional poker. Now, he made a lot of his money in the recession buying up distressed assets. You know, used to be people's homes before they were kicked to the fucking curb. So he would buy them up and then fix them up, rent them out, or resell them. Made a lot of money. He, with Carl Icahn, you know him, sued Trump for control of Trump Entertainment Resorts in Atlantic City after the company filed for bankruptcy. They failed, and Mr. Beal says now there are, quote, no hard feelings. He said he didn't know much about Trump's policy goals, but he trusted Trump to manage the economy. Still with me? Thomas Barrett Jr. He's the founder and executive chairman of the Los Angeles-based Colony Capital. He's a longtime friend of Trump's, previously worked with him, sold him the Plaza Hotel. He has some government experience, believe it or not. He was a deputy undersecretary for the Interior Department in the Reagan administration. Well, first of all, a deputy undersecretary means dog shit. That's nothing. You have no authority, no power. You just fit into the corporate chain, the governmental chain of command structure graph. but you don't do anything. And the fact that he worked in the Interior Department during the Reagan administration, are you shitting me? Oh well. He founded a super PAC called Rebuilding America Now to support the Trump campaign. Rebuilding America Now. Stephen Kalk. He's the chief executive of something called the Federal Savings Bank. He's been a huge critic of financial overhauls and regulations, including those under the Dodd-Frank legislation approved by Congress. David Malpass, former chief economist at Bear Stearns. Malpass made his own bid for office in 2010, running to be New York's Republican senatorial nominee. He's worked in Washington before in the Reagan and Herbert Walker Bush administration as an analyst. He's a prominent contributor to the Wall Street Journal opinion pages, one of the most right-wing sewers in American journalism. And he helped lead an attack by conservatives on the Federal Reserve's aggressive asset purchasing program in 2010. Dan DeMicco, former president and chief executive of the Nucor Corporation, one of the country's largest steel makers. Oops, wait a second. Hasn't Donald Trump been saying we don't make steel anymore in this country? Oh well. Last year, this freak published a book called American Made, Why Making Things Will Return Us to Greatness, which argued that a strong manufacturing sector is essential to maintaining a comfortable middle class. He also wrote a book describing in great detail the fact that water is wet. Steve Feinberg, the founder and chief executive of Cerberus Capital Management, private equity firm. If you remember, Cerberus bought the failing car maker Chrysler in 2007. He promised to revive Chrysler, but he lost billions of dollars before it was rescued in a government-sponsored bankruptcy in 2009. He made billions off the corpse, the not-quite-dead corpse of Chrysler. These are good guys, huh? Peter Navarro. He's the director of the documentary film Death by China. And he's one of a minority of academic economists who argue that free trade is bad for America. Stephen Moore, a fellow at the Heritage Foundation's Project for Economic Growth. This guy has been an ardent proponent of a flat tax. He founded the anti-tax group Club for Growth, member of the Wall Street Journal's editorial board, and advised Rand Paul of Kentucky before Rand Paul had to drop out of the race. Good advice there, asshole. So there you have Donald Trump's Economic Advisory Panel. Did you hear anything in my admittedly brief thumbnail sketches that would make you feel confident that these people could do anything for the American working class, middle class, or poor folk? No, neither did I.